Good evening. Welcome to the DBS Sports. I am Kenson Casimir. We begin tonight with news from the Department of Youth Development and Sports. The Department of Youth Development and Sports were able to complete all of their scheduled activities for the first term of the school sports calendar. So says the school sports coordinator, Isabel Markey. In an exclusive interview with DBS Sports, Mrs. Markey spoke to the various sporting disciplines that were held.
First to begin with, we had the inter-schools table tennis teams competition, which were managed and coordinated by Mr. Chris Wells, who is a coach of the department, but with close collaboration with the Table Tennis Association. So that went relatively well. There was an improvement, an increase in the number of schools. The tournament actually was a very good one, and when you read the final report from the tournament coordinator, Mr. Wells, you would see that there were major surprises. You can speak of a very well-run tournament, and all events leading up to the tournament were well in tune for that kind of climax. We also fulfilled the basketball under 15 and under 19 categories with the secondary schools. We had 12 senior schools in the senior division, and 10 schools in the 8 schools in the under 15 division.
Well, the coordinator answered a number of questions during this interview. Perhaps one of the more salient issues addressed was the scheduling of sporting activities during the peak of the hurricane season and, of course, school exams.
The ministry's calendar is set when it comes to school sports. In the first term, there is basketball, netball, football. There is the road race that we have been having for the past 3 or 4 years now. And so the schools know that those are the sports coming in the first term, including table tennis, and then you have tennis being done by the National Tennis Center. So to avoid running into examination time, we have to establish a set date for those tournaments. So be it the second week or the third week in September, we start off with the schools know that is by that time they should be prepared to go into tournament mode or competition mode, and so it will always remain those competitions for that first term, and then we should not enter, because examinations normally start by the first or the second week in November. We should not be going into November with the tournaments if they start that time in September.
Well, the scores in some of the games played during the first term were abysmal. Mrs. Markey spoke to what the ministry is doing to deal with this issue.
As you would have known, or it have been reported before, that the ministry recently acquired new coaches into the coaching program. So we're looking into beefing up the coaching program to ensure that those coaches also, the programs can filter into the schools and the communities, and better prepare or lend assistance to those programs that the schools already have in preparation for those tournaments.
Well, the second term of the school sports calendar will see schools participating in the inter-house track and field event ahead of the 2018 Inter-Schools Track and Field Championships. Well, in cricket, Glenn Phillips scored a 56 and was involved in 4 dismissals as the Black Caps saw off reigning T20 world champions West Indies in Nelson. Phillips was named the man of the match after guiding New Zealand to a 47-run win over West Indies in the opening 2020 International. Phillips celebrated a 50, and Colin Munro also scored a half-century as the Black Caps hit further misery on the touring Windies, who were bowled out for just 140. Young gun Phillips raked up a 55, while Munro hit 53 to lead New Zealand to 187 for 7 from their 20 over allotment. The Windies bowling attack licked runs with Jerome Taylor 2 for 41, Carlos Bradford 2 for 38, and Keswick Williams 1 for 52, proving expensive after the visitors won the toss and opted to field first. Seth Rance took a 3 for 30 and Team Southey 3 for 46. They were the main wicket takers for New Zealand. The Windies were all out in the 19th over. Sad. Well, after this, Windies T20 skipper Carlos Brathwaite pointed to a pour-over from bowler Keswick Williams as a major contributing factor in a 47 runs defeat to New Zealand in the opening 2020 game in Nelson on Thursday. But Brathwaite believes the game was lost with the ball after New Zealand added a 25-run from the final over from Williams. For the first 19 overs, we bowled as good as we did. But it happens. Keswick Williams had been the best bowler in the world this calendar year, but he just went off target, said Brathwaite. It wasn't even a bad day, just one bad over, and that gave them some momentum going into our innings, and we never really got that big over, he added. Well, West Indies have lost every single game on this tour in convincing fashion so far. Well, we take a break, but when we get back, the Free Kick Foundation to host College Showcase tomorrow. And of course, you don't want to miss our So Sad moment of the week. Welcome back. The Free Kick Foundation would like to inform the public that the first College Player Showcase trial is scheduled for this Saturday, December 30th, 2017 at the Saab Playing Field, Castries, St. Lucia. A trial will run from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the first half hour used to address any registration and administrative issues. Now, the trial will be open to all applicants and the non-applicants, male or female, who meet the minimum requirements below. Well, the minimum requirements include all participants must not turn 22 years before December 31st, 2017. All participants must have a minimum grade 1, 2, or 3 in both math and English. And of course, all participants must have a SAT score or proof of registration for the SAT exam. Well, all participants are encouraged to wear a white shirt and black shorts for the trial. Now, former Chelsea and Manchester City and also AC Milan striker George Weah will be the next president of Liberia. Well, Weah, 51, became the first non-European player to win the Ballon d'Or in 1995. Just one of many achievements over a prolific 18-year professional career that ended in 2003. He entered politics after his retirement and had been serving as a senator in Liberia's parliament. Wow. Well, his victory was announced by Liberia's National Elections Commission on Thursday. Now, it's said that he, with 98.1% of ballots counted, Weah had won 61.5% of the vote. Wow. He will succeed Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and South Africa's first elected female president. She defeated Weah in elections in 2005, held shortly after the end of a brutal civil war. Well, finally, our So Sad moment of the week. Come on, guys. We are the defending World T20 champions, aren't we? Well, at least when we played, and we had players like Dwayne Bravo, Darren Bravo, Kieran Pollard, Sunil Narine, Lindell Simmons, Marlon Samuels, along with Captain Darren Sammy at the helm, we were like the untouchables. A couple of things. West Indies have yet to win a World Cup without a Lucian on the side, be it Johnson Charles or Darren Sammy, as in the T20 format. Another thing, West Indies have not held a #1 position without a St. Lucian on the T20 team. Just facts. Well, earlier, West Indies received a series whitewash from New Zealand in the Test series. Then, West Indies received the series whitewash in the one-day internationals. Silly me. Silly West Indians. We thought to ourselves, well, we're certainly going to do well in the T20s. But no, licks for us, even in T20s. New Zealand made us look like schoolboys last night in an event that just 2 years ago we looked like soldiers. West Indies lost to New Zealand by 47 runs in a T20. And to be honest, we look like we're only in for more licks this weekend. So sad. Well, that's sport. The DBS News continues after the break.